You tap your phone hundreds of times a day, but you're not actually pressing anything. Beneath that iPhone glass, an invisible electric field scans a grid of transparent electrodes hundreds of times per second. The moment your skin gets close, it disrupts the charge, and the screen knows exactly where you touched. That's capacitive magic. And the story of how a sheet of glass learned to feel your fingertip starts decades before the first iPhone existed. In October 1965, British engineer Eric Arthur Johnson published the first design for a capacitive screen using copper traces on glass to register touch. But a parallel technology soon took off. In 1971, American physicist Sam Hurst developed the Elograph, a pressure-sensitive resistive system that physically pressed conductive layers together to locate a touch, leading to transparent screens by 1974. These resistive displays dominated early handhelds, from the 1993 IBM Simon to pocket organizers. Then in 2007, Apple changed everything, introducing the iPhone and making capacitive multi-touch the default way we interact with the digital world. To understand why resistive screens ruled the early digital era, picture a tiny sandwich. At its core, a resistive screen uses two flexible, transparent layers coated with a conductive material, separated by a microscopic gap of air or tiny spacer dots. When you press the outer plastic layer, it physically bends down to touch the bottom layer, completing an electrical circuit. A controller instantly pinpoints the exact coordinates of that physical squeeze. Because this system relies purely on pressure rather than electrical conductivity from your skin, you can operate it with a fingernail, a plastic stylus, or even a heavy winter glove. But this rugged simplicity comes with major trade-offs. The extra layers of plastic and air block light, making the display look dim and hazy. And the physical design makes modern multi-touch gestures practically impossible. Instead of squeezing physical layers, another approach bypasses pressure entirely by sending invisible energy racing across a solid pane of glass. This is the surface acoustic wave system. Imagine a silent, high-frequency sound wave constantly humming across a calm lake. Small transmitters at the screen's borders send these ultrasonic vibrations skimming over the glass. When you touch the screen, your finger acts like a tiny sponge, absorbing a fraction of that sound. Sensors at the edges instantly detect this quiet shadow in the wave, calculating exactly where the signal dropped to locate your touch. Because it is built on a single thick sheet of glass, it stays crystal clear and incredibly tough, making it popular for public information kiosks. But there is a catch. Any stray raindrop, grease, or speck of dust absorbs the sound too, leaving the screen completely confused. A capacitive touchscreen operates on the laws of electromagnetism. Beneath the protective top glass sits a grid of transparent conductive layers. These layers hold a constant electrical charge, projecting an invisible electrostatic field across the surface. Because the human body is conductive, your skin naturally carries an electrical charge. When your finger approaches the glass, it interacts with this electric field, drawing a minute amount of charge to itself. This interaction alters the local capacitance at that exact spot, operating without the need to squeeze physical layers together. Sensors instantly register this electrical dip. This capacitive method represents a broad family of engineering designs, all relying on electric fields to provide the speed and precision required for fluid, multi-finger gestures. Inside the iPhone, this electromagnetic interaction happens across an incredibly fine, invisible web. Beneath the protective cover glass lies a laminated grid of transparent electrodes made from a material called indium tin oxide. This grid consists of driving rows and sensing columns that do not actually touch. Instead, they cross over each other, separated by an ultra-thin insulating layer, creating thousands of individual electrical intersections. An integrated microchip called the touch controller constantly sends an electrical signal down the rows, scanning the entire grid hundreds of times every single second. At every point where a row and column cross, a tiny electrostatic field forms, establishing what engineers call mutual capacitance. When your finger approaches the glass, your body's natural electrical conductivity acts like a magnet for this energy. your skin draws away a tiny portion of that localized field, causing a sudden, measurable drop in the electrical coupling at that exact intersection. Rather than simply registering that a touch occurred, the controller instantly calculates the coordinates of the disruption, mapping the precise location, speed, and pathway of your fingers with sub-millimeter accuracy. By converting these rapid changes in electrical charge into digital commands, the iPhone translates physical gestures into instant on-screen actions, making the glass feel completely natural to the touch. This multi-finger tracking works because the grid relies on mutual capacitance rather than self-capacitance. While self-capacitance simply measures the electrical charge of a single electrode to the ground, often getting confused by multiple inputs, mutual capacitance measures the intersection points of the grid. It treats every single crossing as an independent sensor, allowing the phone to track several fingers at once. Because this system depends on your body's natural conductivity to disrupt the electric field, it requires a clean connection. A bare finger works perfectly, but a thick woolen glove blocks the electrical coupling, leaving the screen unresponsive. Conductive styluses and special touchscreen gloves solve this by using metal or silver-infused fibers to bridge the gap and carry your body's charge directly to the glass. However, this sensitivity to electrical changes has a major vulnerability: water. Since water is highly conductive, a single raindrop or sweat droplet can steal charge from the grid just like a finger, triggering erratic, unwanted ghost touches. To stop this, modern screens use a defense system of hardware and software. Ultra-thin glass, narrow electrode geometries, and a slippery oleophobic coating force water to bead up and roll away. Meanwhile, the touch controller scans the grid up to 200 times every second. Intelligent filtering algorithms instantly analyze these signals, dismissing the tiny, sharp electrical spikes of sliding raindrops while executing the broad, deliberate swipe of your thumb. Engineers are now pushing components completely beneath the glass display. Instead of dedicated home buttons or rear sensors, new phones hide biometric scanners directly under the active screen. Qualcomm uses piezoelectric transducers to send high-frequency ultrasonic pulses through the display glass, building a precise three-dimensional map of a fingerprint from the returning echoes. Companies like Goodix and Synaptics are developing optical and hybrid systems that pass light through the pixel matrix to read prints in milliseconds. Beyond visual displays, other technologies are redefining how glass actually feels. Firms like Tanvis are developing surface haptics, using electrostatic fields to create localized friction that makes a smooth glass screen feel textured like sandpaper or clicky like a physical keyboard. Meanwhile, Ultraleap is exploring touchless hover interfaces that detect hand gestures before your finger even makes contact. To make these systems durable on foldable and bendable screens from manufacturers like Samsung Display and BOE, researchers are replacing brittle metals with flexible conductors made of silver nanowires and graphene. These advances turn a simple sheet of cover glass into an active, multi-sensory interface. Today, glass is no longer a barrier. It's our primary gateway to the digital world. As interfaces begin to mimic physical textures, the line between human and machine is completely vanishing. What do you think the future of touch looks like? Share your thoughts below.